afternoon, everybody. Oh, it's a cold one today, isn't it? It's, yeah. At least we're not having any rain, so we don't get flooded on the outside of the unit. It sometimes on the road looks a little bit like a lake, but not today. It's just a bit nippy, but that's okay. I think probably why I've chosen a bright yellow tile is because of the cold, and to have a little bit of warmth in there. I mean, I could have chosen my red or my orange, but I mean, out at the park, it's everything that you want, isn't it? So it's what colour to choose. If you're not sure, just open it and take the top one. That's all that you need to do. So what have we got today then? Okay, as I mentioned, bright yellow tile. Whew! Is it? Oh, it's raining. Maybe it's going to come up here then, Christine. I don't know. I mean, we've got a little bit of blue sky, but nothing much. Ooh. Okay. Black pen. I have actually got with me today, I've got a grey pen as well. I'm going to use that in a little bit in the background. Now, if you haven't got one, don't matter, just use your black. It's just nice, I find, to be able to use the two together. It just gives it a little bit of depth. I've also got my pencil. Do you know, actually I've just been looking through my pencil case and I've got about 6 pencils, all in varying lengths, but this one's the sharpest. I've even found a pokey tool I thought was long gone. Something slightly worrying though, I found a pen lid with no pen. That's a bit worrying, but not to worry. And of course, because I've got my yellow tile, I can use a white chalky pencil. So I've got my white chalky pencil, and I've also got my pastel pencils lying around over there just in case. So we're ready for this then? We're good to go? We warmed our hands up? All right, I'm going to start then. I'm going to take all those out of the way. I'm going to start with my pencil and a big deep breath. Whew, it's all been busy up here, so it's nice to sort of have a little bit of a break and just chill. I don't think the Hermes guy's going to be chilled when he gets here though, because there's a lot of parcels. They're all boxed up, ready to go. So that'd be nice if he can come. Do you know what though, actually yesterday we expected him to come about 3:30 as he normally does, and he came. It's a new guy. He came before 10:30. Well, no, not packed everything yet. But that's okay, because he took what we got and everything else is going today. So here we are. I'm just gonna join my dots. Just turning it round. It's nice, isn't it, to come back to basics, I think, and we don't always put those dots in and draw that border. So it's nice to just have a deep breath, chill out, and focus on just these little things. So don't forget to turn. Yes, Chris, this is from the Tile book pad. I have got some refills. I've just not put them on the website yet. I'm going to be updating that either later today, tomorrow. Just got a little bit of stuff to do first, but I'm getting there. All right, don't forget, turning your tile. It's not stuck to the board. It's nice to move it about a little bit, and just to make life a little bit more comfortable for you, really. So you don't have to, strain your wrist or anything. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing on the inside now. I'm going to draw a border. So let's have a look at this. So same thing with the squares. It's about as wide as my pencil. So, oh yes, Christine, they are on their way. And you know what? They're lovely. They are lovely. There we go. Turning it round. Oh, hi, Deborah. We're all well up here. I think I'm ready for an early night though tonight, if I'm honest. So, I did come in early just in case he came at 10:30 this morning. You know what? It's going to be like late. It's going to be probably 5 o'clock, isn't it, tonight by the time he gets here now. But that's okay, because they're all snugging in there. Okay, so I've got this bit of a border going on. While we're sort of at it, let's just split the border. So here we go. I'm going to just draw those lines in. So I'm creating those little sort of squares in the corner. Now keep this light because they're just guidelines. And let's, good morning, Denise. Hey, Paul, Barbara. All right, so again, I'm sort of looking centre if it's not perfectly in the centre, please don't worry about it. Now at this point, if I was to put a line here, this would make these two a little bit larger than that one. So I'm going to choose to do 2 lines and split it into 3. So sort of following it down, see? And the same there. So they don't have to be perfectly the same. That's absolutely fine, but we're just sort of doing a little bit of a guesswork, I suppose. So there we go again, centre-ish. I'm going to split that one into 3. Oh, hey Mitch, yeah, I thought I hadn't seen your name popping up for a while. Hope you are. Well, that's okay. It's they're here to come in and out of as you see fit. It's absolutely fine. It's just nice that you can join with me. Okay? So again, sticking with grid lines just for now. I'm going to come across and down the centre. Again, keep this light because we're not going to need it all the way to the very end. It's just giving us a little bit of a guide. So sort of straight lines. It's a guide. And then turning it round. And I'm going to do the same on the other side. Again, turning that tile. It's nice to be reminded sometimes because we try and restrict ourselves and not move it at all, and you just don't get the results that you want. Okay? And then same again, I'm going to go diagonally, just drawing in that little line. Okay? And then again, just working along that space. There we are. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Bernadette. I really enjoyed Saturday. It was a very long day, but I really enjoyed it. And that's thanks to not just those over there and, you know, the presenters and the crew, but you as well for watching. If nobody watches me, there's no point doing it, is there? So, yeah, thank you ever so much. It was brilliant. Thank you. Okay, so we've got all our grid work done. So we're going to leave that now, and I'm going to come in using my pen. Okay. And let's have a look. I'm going to start in, I'm going to say centre, in this central area, and I'm going to come in. Now you might want to just watch this before you go ahead and do it, just so you can see where I'm working from here. I'm going to go there to there. I'm going to put a little bit of a curve in. All right. I don't think I'm using the background now as a guide. It's there for in a little bit. I'm sort of working freehand now. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same thing a little bit further down. So one here and one here. Okay. Oh, that's good, Sue. Glad you're doing fine. Oh, Lindsay, sorry. But some stuff did go out yesterday. And the rest, all of it's today. Okay, so I'm just going to add a little bobble on the end there, see? And then this one here, little bobble. See, one there, look. And one there. All right? Okay, so now I'm going to turn it round because I actually want it that way. But it was easy to draw. Okay? So, next job, let's go a little bit larger so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to do a line. Let's go from here. I'm going to start at this top end. When I get to here, I'm going to stop underneath with it. And stop underneath with it. And then to there. Okay? And let's aura that line. So I'm just repeating what I've done there. Like, nice and fine, nice and close together there. Okay? So at the end, I'm just going to sort of add a little curve just to sort of finish it off there. All right. Okay, let's focus on this top section then. So it's going to add sort of a little triangle to the top. See? There you go. Let's do the triangle. And then fill it in. There we are. And then just sort of coming down so it doesn't sort of look like it's gone from nothing to black. Let's just add a couple of little dots in. Okay. So from about the centre again, so about there, look, I'm going to create a lovely little loop. There we are. Okay. And then this side, let's do another little loop. And again, you see quite close together. And that should take it to about level with that. But I want to do a little bit of a curve there. And loop it that way. Alright, so it's a little bit of a saggy one, isn't it? Alright, next one then. So again, here we go. Loop this way. A loop this way. So that's the two, see? Now this one, remember we've done, and it goes, flops down a little bit and comes back up. Okay, so let's just put in some little lines. See, I got 3 in there. You might only get 2 in. If that's the case, it's fine. And let's have a couple down here. You see, a couple in there, and then let's add a couple in there. See, I'm going from that centre, from that black point, and flicking outwards. All right, let's have a look at that. All right, so far, that's how we're looking. Okay, so let's do another. I'm not going to go right to the end here yet. I'm going to sort of work about here. And let's go from here, look. So there to stop, and then there. And you see, it sort of naturally starts to curve all by itself. And I've on purpose not done this so it's finished at the same level. We don't want that. We want them all to be slightly different. Alright. So there we go. And just curl that off again at the bottom. And then again back to the top here. So same as before, we did a little triangle. There we are. Coloured the triangle in. And then a couple of little dots just to sort of drag that down into that stem shape there. Oh, that rain's come up from Derbyshire. Oh, knew it'd happen. Well, does that mean that the sun's come out where you are down there then? Hopefully, yes. There we go. Alright, that one. Okay, excuse me. And then let's go this side. Doesn't matter which way you start. So I'm going to do 1, 2. See, that one's going to go underneath. And then I've got this sort of floppy one. I'm not really going to see that there. There we go. And the same on this side. So there. You see, even though we've got the rain here, we've still got the sunshine in this lovely yellow tile. That doesn't matter. Alright, so here we go. And that one. Little bits there. So again, you see I'm flicking, I'm going from here outwards. This is a natural thing that it gets a little bit finer as you further out, so you're getting that sort of light and darkness coming there. There we go. Alright, let's have a look then at where we're at with that. Okay, 2 of them, looking good. Alright, let's do another one. I'm going to do one sort of over here, I think. Let's have it coming in there. And there. And that's going to come in and go around that way a little bit. Oh, see, now you're all showing off that you've got the sun. That's okay, I've got my yellow tile. It's nice and warm. Okay, so this is slightly curved, isn't it? So we're gonna follow through. I'm gonna have this one going this way. So there's that triangle again. And there we go. Fill that in, just as before, and then let's add in some little dots down there. Okay. So here's that point, and then 2. 1, 3, and then a sort of a droopy one. And then again, 2, and then a bit of a droopy one. Okay? And then here we go, back in with those lines. Right. So whether you get 2 or 3 or 1, it doesn't matter, just work from the inside out. There you see, and you get that lovely sort of flicked effect. That's what we want. Okay, so I think we need another one. Let's have one here, but this time look, it's going to be quite close to that little band. I don't want them all to be the same level. So again, following that through, going underneath each time. There we are. And then again, that little triangle on the top. Filling that little bit in. A couple of little, that's just to add it. Then start in the middle with that lovely little teardrop shape. You can see now, can't you, why I did those, excuse me, those corners that I did with the circled eyes, because I use that pattern quite a lot and it's really effective. It works well. So that's going to be there. See this one? It's going to come in, you're going to see it a little bit there. So you just imagine that you're still drawing the line, eyes going around. Oh, Chris, that's okay. You don't have to have more than 3. That's all it fits. It's fine. See, I'm going to sneak one in here, just because it's, you know, four's quite nice. Well, I can get another in, so it might be sort of underneath the others there. Let's have a go. So I'm going to put one here, look, underneath, following through. So you'll recognise the stems as a pattern all on its own, and we've used that again quite a lot when we're doing certain things. And you can see that it's being used for something that's actually, you know, got a shape now. So it's not just a random pattern anymore. It's pretty useful. But those of you that do quite a lot now will recognise that. Okay, so see here now, I'm going to pretend that that's going underneath. There we are. So you just sort of imagine it with your pen. Oh yeah, it would make a lovely topper, wouldn't it? Okay, and then another. And then let's have that slightly droopy one there. Hi, Marie. Yeah, we're all fine up here. Oh, doing okay. Just a bit cold and chilly today, I think, but that's why we've picked a yellow tile. Okay. All right, so far so good. Okay, next bit then. Are we ready? Here we go. So, coming sort of from this side now, I'm not going to go up into this section here. I'm going to come from here outwards. So let's do another one of those little stems. You see? And let's just put that on the bottom and continue it upwards that way. All right. But this time, I'm going to add in that little smile on the bottom there. And then I'm going to come in from here. Let's go a little bit larger, just to remind you. I'm sure you've done this lots before, but let's just remind you, you're coming from this point here, round and up. And the same again this side, round and up. Okay? And then you can see that we're getting that lovely sort of leaf shape. Let's do another. So these don't have to sort of be all the way up and over here. Let's have one coming this way. Let's have quite a long stem. There we go. And then again, put that lovely little curve on. And then it's round. It's going to go slightly. You see here now, I've sort of touched this section here. Now, because this, I wanted it to look like it's moved slightly, this is not quite there. I'm going to just sort of offset that line, see? And it's just going to give it a little bit more of a realist effect when I put my shading on there, because it's not going to fit perfectly. They do look a little bit like noses, don't they? All right, let's have one coming off here. There you there's that lovely little smile again, and down and round. There we go. Let's just join that together at the top. Okay. Oh, I know, Sheila. I know. Perhaps I do more organic designs than the others, but I do enjoy them. But I have, to be fair, I have put a grid behind and around the outside, so we're getting a little bit of everything today. There we go. Don't be afraid to turn your tile around, upside down, side to side, just wherever it goes to make it comfortable. Alright, let's have another one coming off here. See, I'm sort of filling that space up and just working it round. Okay, so I think a few more leaves to come in, but I really don't want 3 this side and 3 this side. It's sort of a little bit of a rule anyway, that you don't want to have them both the same. But let's expand a little bit, and I'm going to put one. See, I want it to go up sort of this way. So let's go again underneath. It still comes underneath there, and then let's go out here. See, I'm going underneath wherever I can. Just gonna have it poking out there. So I'm never sort of crossing any of those lines. They're going underneath each other each time. See, let's see a bit there, look. Let's have one here. Okay. No, Rhiannon, it's not sad. Funny, but not sad. It's everybody has their own ideas, you know, and everybody likes their different things, and that's great. That's what we want, a little bit of diversity. So I'm going to imagine that there's one under here. So this is going to be where my leaf comes out. Okay. And let's have one. Let's have one here too. Yeah, I'm going to do one there. Alright, let's take that back in. You see, this is starting to get quite complex now, and I quite like that, when you have to really think about where those lines are taking you. So I like the overlapping and all that kind of thing. Alright, so, okay, you need a little bit of filling up on this side now. So you see we've got sort of gaps here, so I'm going to add one in that's going to go up here. There we go. And see that, follow that through. I'm not going to put too much into detail in that bottom edge because there's plenty there now. Right, you'll see a little bit there, and out we go. Okay. Alright. Maybe, yeah. Oh, I know, you know. We'll put some in. Hi, Julie. Okay. All right. So here we go. If those of you that is there anybody out there now that doesn't know what a zinger is? Because we have to put them in. Every time Julie mentions it, we have to put them in. It's sort of become a bit of a law now, hasn't it? There we go. So one coming this way as well. Yeah. See, you can't just put one in though, can you? You've got to put a few in once you've started. So we have to keep it going. Right, and there. Now you don't have to do 2 every time. You can do 1s or 3s or whatever you want to do. Well, let's go a little bit quicker. Yeah, and let's have a little bit of a stem coming off there with a bobble on the end. That just sort of helps it out a little bit. Right, let's do, see, I don't want them in the same place. Let's do one here. There we are, see, and as they get smaller and smaller. And then again, let's have one there. Start by an all around. Getting smaller. There you go. Okay, let's have a look where we're at. Yeah, oh, I've got 2, yeah, I've got 4 there and 2 there. Shall we just put one up here? I could be totally random and put extras in, but I think that's, yeah, it's just lovely, isn't it? A nice little one. Okay, right, what I am going to do now is I'm going to put those border edges in. You can see now why we did them in pencil, but we didn't want to go into too much detail putting them in. We just wanted to keep it nice and light. And if you find that you're going to struggle a little bit putting the lines in, then that's fine. You do a wavy line if you feel you need to, or use another tile for a slightly straight edge. But I quite like, you know, when we've hand drawn something, I quite like that hand drawn border feel too. But everybody's different, as I said, so it's okay. I think it's you know, let go of that fear of not of not getting it straight. It doesn't matter. And yes, you can hear the kettle on. Leslie's in. She saved me. She's back. There we are. See, straight through them zingers. Okay. All right. So I'm going to just put my pen down for a moment, and I'm going to go to the grey pen. You can think, oh, what is she doing? But that's okay, because if you haven't got a grey, then it's fine to use the black. And what I'm going to do now, any of that grid that I can see, I'm going to draw it in. Okay, now when you see this section here, let's have a look. You see where it's started, but then I've got this curve. I don't want to have that line in the same, sort on the same peripheral, so to speak, so I'm going to slightly offset it on purpose. You see? So then here I've got another one. I'm not going to have too much in there, but I am going to offset it slightly. Okay? And then when it comes back online with the background, I'm going to actually put it back in the lines where it should be. And again, if I was to sort of say, you know, once we've done all this drawing, oh, let's put a grid in now and do something else with it, it gets a little bit confusing. And that's not what I wanted to do. I don't want to stress you out. I wanted it to be nice and relaxing. So just going back in afterwards and putting that background in, you can sort of, you've got a little bit of a clearer vision as to where it is. All right. Okay. Same here. All right. And straight through those fingers, that's fine. The same again, if you see one here, it's on this section, I'm going to go slightly off centre with it. Okay, slightly off. Alright. Last one there. Again, one bit there, slightly off again. Straight through, just follow the lines, slightly off each time. There you go. So look at that. Oh, do I, Nadia? Do you know, last night the atmospherics were terrible at home. I missed the bake-off at the end. I know, how very dare they, on the bake-off. And we recorded it and it was just as bad on the recording. So I had to rely on Leslie this morning telling me who won and who had to go home and all the rest of it. Okay, just for clarity now, I'm going to use the end of my rubber here just to sort of remove those lines away from the grid. I've not done anything with the outer border yet, but we'll come to that in a moment. Okay, let's just move those sections out. So you can sort of see now where we're going with this. And you see here now where I've got these crosses, where my grid crosses over. I'm just going to add in a little square, or a rectangle, or a diamond, or you can use a circle, whatever you want to do. See, I'm suspecting now here, look, there's one missing, there you go. And that's when you rub out your pencil lines, you start to see what you've missed. There you go. You see, because I've used the grey, it's not as sort of as forward looking as the flowers and the leaves. It's just giving it that little bit of a background, just a little bit of interest. So it's just where you can see them. So you have a bit of one there maybe, a bit of one there. And I like this because we didn't really plan where this was going to go in comparison to where the flowers were going to go. And I must say actually Friday's tile that we completely scribbled over, so to speak, I'm glad to see that some of you had a go at that. I know it's a little bit scary doing it. It's nice. If you didn't see it, you need to go back and have a look. We did a lovely tile, then I just drew lines all over it. And frightened everybody to death. But that's okay. Alright, see, I'll get another one there. See, this is a good thing, you know, you've got to spot all these little lines and things. There you go, you see, you get one there. Alright, okay, let's have a look at that. So we've got this little bit of a background going on now. We've got the main feature. So now I'm going to come, I'm going to come back to a black pen. So here we go. Now, looking around the border, where we've got these grid lines, what I'm actually going to do now, I think I'm going to, let's have a look. Yeah, let's go in with a zigzag. I always start in the corner, I think. It's nice to sort of work your way, and I'm going to go from one point to the next. Now, I can go through the zingers, no problem. But of course, if you've got your little leaves and things, you don't want to be doing that. You want to be going behind them, which we know how to do now, so that's okay. So I'm just sort of imagining, you can see here where they would go. Let's put that one in there. Get a bit in there, a tiny bit. Oh, we ought to be being. We do like our differences, don't we? It's nice to be a bit brave and do something different. And I mean, there's absolutely nothing wrong with traditional tangling, and it's lovely. It looks beautiful. You know, and using the black and white and doing the abstract patterns, absolutely lovely. But I do like to challenge it a little bit, if possible. Okay, so here we go, in there. All right. So I'm going to take these triangles now, so the ones that are sort of peeking inwards, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fill it with lines. You see, I'm just going the same way as that first sort of triangle line went, just going from one side to the other. There we go. Let's go a little bit larger now so you can see there. So again, looking at this line here. Now of course, if you're right-handed, you might be going from the other side upwards. It's whichever line you want to work to, that's fine. But as long as this one and this one are the same, you see? So we're going the same way and just nice and gently taking it down to nothing. Okay? Same with this one here. Just filling it in. Of course, going behind that leaf. Okay, so I've got my first sort of row done, you see? So then I'm going to turn my tile. Now this perhaps isn't the easiest one to sort of give you the idea with, but it's a case of actually filling in the same triangles again. Again, it might be a little bit hard to sort of grasp, but just fill it in as sort of as best as you can and try and follow those lines. But because it's behind there, and flowers are going to be the more important thing anyway, so that's just sort of filling in the background. Turning it again. So let's start this side and fill in those spaces just as before. I'm just coming back on myself. There we go. Getting smaller. Same with this one. See, now it's covering that zinger, but that's okay because we can come and bring that out a little bit more in a short while with a little bit of shading. And see, now we know that that one's going to fit in there. Okay. Oh, I know. Well, I'm glad that you're going to give this one a go. It's a nice one to do, and it's great as a little card topper. It's still look lovely in a journal. I think if we focus too much, you know, on the cold and the misery of it, then we sort of lose track of the fact, you know, we're still here. We're still giving it a go. We've not got to the fact that we're queuing and trying to take too many toilet rolls off the shelves again. But you remember that? That wasn't that long ago. I know. It's you know, it just makes you smile, doesn't it? You know, having a nice, brightly piece of card in front of you. And of course, if you've got the coloured journal, why not mix this? You know, with the on the tangerine page, or put it onto the really dark red page. Maybe the pink would be quite nice, wouldn't it? Okay, so we've done that all the way around, as you can see. Oh, it's a good cup of tea. So let's have a look now at this triangle that's left. So we're going to do the same pattern, but instead of this time obviously filling it in this way, we're going to turn it round and we're going to fill it in this way, like such. So same thing, we're just going to work our way around the frame. Let's do that one as well there while we're there. And get just up to those lines. Just going over that one. And filling that in. I see here's a little bit different. So I'm going to come back to that one later, because remember we're working up back. Well, we can do this bit. I'm going to do up to there. But again, it's up to you, however you want to do your corners. I'm going to come back and look at that one in a little bit. I'm going to follow the rules, I think, that I sort of set myself, and just work up to each corner. So I think that one might end up going a different way. Alright. Turning it round. And again, so... See, that one now is going to go that way, isn't it? Alright. Filling that one in. And of course, remember, it's only a border. So if yours is a little bit different, or if we've gone one way and we shouldn't have done it, it doesn't matter. This is just, you know, giving those flowers a little bit of a dressing. See, I think on one over here, I actually went straight across all of it, didn't I? So I think I'm going to do that one on here as well. Bit different to that corner, I know, but that's okay. So I've got opposites doing something a bit different, but it doesn't matter. Alright, fill that bit in. Now this a little bit tricky around here because we've got all those stems, but that's fine. All the way to the end. And now this one, I'm going to do is the same one I did diagonally there, and just add in those lines. Okay, so let's have a look at that. It's okay, quite a busy border. We've got this background of a grid running there as well, and we've got these flowers, but at the minute they're all at the same level in terms of the depth, so we can't really establish which should be at the front and which should be at the back. But that's okay, that's what we're going to address right now. So I'm going to use pencil to start with, and just because I'm going to work from backwards to the front, I'm going to start with this border, sorry, not the border, the background shape. So let's go in a little bit. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of a line of pencil, ever so lightly, and then just bring it up again. So I've got like an L shape. Now, it doesn't matter which way you do this, as long as, once you've made your decision as to where you're going to put it, so say I've like gone to the right and then up towards the left, as long as I repeat that and do the same again, it's all fine. So if you decide that you want to do this bit, do that, but just make sure that you repeat it on all of them. Okay, some of them a little bit tricky underneath, just to sort of get them in. But remember, underneath we're not really trying to get too much in, because the flower's the most important thing. So this is just giving us a little bit of a grounding to get us going with it. And of course, it focuses the mind. It makes you have a look at really what you've drawn. Okay. So it doesn't look like anything at the minute. It never does it, until we get going. So here we go. All right, tortillon then. And all I'm going to do is follow the same sort of route that I took before with the pencil. Oh, do you know, when you've got a fly in the room and it just doesn't want to go away, it keeps wandering up and threatening to have a sip of my tea. Can't be doing with that. So here we go. I'm just softening those edges and just staying within that side that I originally drew. Oh, so yeah, the watercolour pencils look lovely on it. I mean, you can do that if you like. Don't mind. I can switch to watercolour. Got a bit of water here, so. And if in doubt, tea's wet. So you see, I'm not really putting too much emphasis on getting that shadows and all the rest. It's just adding a little bit just to sort of get us going with it. There we go. See? Bits in there. All right, so I suppose the shadow is really important is here. So we need to add quite a bit in there. And we need to add quite a bit in there. And then at the sides, I'm just going to add a little bit. See, I've just done almost like a very small zigzag. That's just while I'm in that sort of angle. Let's just soften that off. Same with that edge. And soften that off there. And that one. And then here, I'm just going to... See, I don't really want it to cover the whole thing. I'm just not moving it too much, but I just want to soften the edge of that. So let's have a look at that. Okay. So we're getting that sort of looking as though that's going underneath. Okay. All right, back to pencil. And I'm going to add on the inside of that border. And I'm going to press on a little bit there. I want it to be quite strong. Okay. Now here, you've got to be a little bit careful where you're going with that. We'll just work it round. Same here. Now here you're not going to see much at all. A little bit there, look. Not got much going on. We'll touch around there. Okay. And then of course tortillon. Okay, not going to see much there. I'm just going to soften the edges a little bit. I'm not going to put too much detail there. Just work up and down. You see how it just softens the edge? So we're not going around and doing too much with, circular motions or anything. We're just wanting to ease that edge. So I'm not trying to move the graphite too far into the shape. It's just giving it a very definite sort of end. See there, I've got a shape around that a little bit. There we go. All right. So quite a dark edge. So back to pencil, and I'm going to now repeat that on this side. You notice I'm using the side of my pencil. I know some of you know what you're doing, and that's fine, but if you're not sure and you're wondering how I'm getting so much pencil on, I'm using the sort of the side and not the point. So let's go ahead and put some on this side as well. So I'm working on the inside. Turning my tile, same again, and again just little bits in there just to give it that feeling that it is going underneath. Same on there. So both sides. I'm not being shy with this pencil. It's really going on there, and I think this is where again it's that little bit of a challenge that you've got to go a little bit darker sometimes, because if not, how do you expect the lights to show through? If it's a little bit too pale, if you think it's not 3D enough, you've probably not pressed on with your pencil enough. Okay, So again, on some of the areas where you've only got little bits, then you can't really, you know, side to side, back and forth like this. But see how it goes. Well, the idea is you don't want to go into the centre if you can help it. You're just wanting to work from side to side, and you've got that light, or almost a highlight going down the centre. If it's a little bit tough, you know, on the slightly smoother tiles, you will find that you've got to work it a little bit more, but that's fine. We know that it's not like the cartridge paper tiles where it just, you know, you put a bit of pencil on and it shifts all over the place. It's nice to have that bit more control. There we go, see underneath there. Turning it round. Okay. And just working it up. There we go. Let's have a look-see. All right, oh, look at that. That's what we wanted. All right, just back to black pen for a moment. And what I am going to do is I'm going to go back over that borderline, and I just want to redefine that shape. Okay, now if I end up with two lines there, that's okay. Don't think you've got to do it exactly, but let's just work it a little bit. We just want to redefine the line, and of course now you notice that the grid that we did, you know, the little squares and the background is starting to fade a bit now into the background. Oh, it does, doesn't it? Oh, thanks, Christine. Yeah, I'm pleased with this. We put no colour on it yet. I'm going to do that in a minute. I'm going to save that bit for the last. But you know, it's nice to come back and just define these edges, isn't it? And I've said before, this is the difference between just watching and you know, having this conversation and seeing how these things work compared to just having a look, you know, on the internet and finding a picture or not. You just don't get the full insight, do you? There we go. See, I've just redefined those, just the bottom lines there. Remember, I'd got some little zingers as well that were sort of coming off the page. Let's just sort of put them back in, because after all, they are in front of this border. You can just about see them. There we are. All right. Okay. All right. So just before we go into colour in particular, I want to just come in with a white pencil now, my sort of chalky pencil, or your pastel, or whatever you want to use. Even a white gel pen would do the trick. And let's just add in that highlight. And of course, if you're using just a regular white or a creamy coloured tile, you might not see this as sort of bright as it is, but it's still worth doing because it really does give that bit of a difference. Okay, so there's our border. Okay, might just add a touch, you know, just on there, just to give that a little bit of a highlight. See, I've not really pressed on, just ever so gentle. That's how it'll go a bit larger there. You see, so there's hardly any. Just a little bit over there, just to give it a bit of a highlight. Okay, all right. So let's have a look at the watercolours then. Here we go. Now the beauty of this is you've actually always got, you know, with these, you've always got the brush in there with it, which is always handy. To that in a minute. So colours, because I've used a yellow tile, I'm still going to go in with a yellow. And I'm going to go in with some of the red, and I think actually the darker blue as well. I think I'll stick with them for now. We'll see where we go with them. Oh, cup of tea. Okay, let's go a bit larger then. So let's focus on the leaves first. So yeah, I have got greens in the pack, and we sort of did mention using greens and things in a previous tile. So when I suddenly start saying, well, I've got greens in the pack, but do you know what? I'm going to use a bit of blue on these leaves. Don't panic. I mean, immediately, because there's yellow in the background, they're already going to start to look a little bit green. You see, bits of blue, and I'm just doing it, like I would with my smirks with my pencil. Just adding a little bit on. So I'm not really colouring, certainly not with watercolours, anyway, there's no need. This is just about colour placement. There you go. And underneath here, of course, you want to put some in there. And add a little bit. I'm not doing every single one. Don't think it needs it. Okay. So then let's come back in with the yellow. And where I've worked some of the blue, let's add some yellow over the top. So you can see almost immediately that the colour's starting to change a bit. Let's just have a look. You see where I've got that pen? I'm just going to remove that pencil. Seeing those little leaves? Just don't want it to spoil the final effect. Alright. So yeah, going over the blue with some yellow. I mean, not completely, but let's just add a bit in. And I always remember doing watercolour classes and I was told, yeah, there are greens and they always make your own. Alright, so let's leave that as is just for a little minute. And I'm going to stick with the yellow and I'm going to add, again, I'm just going to rub out, you see that little bit of a grid line there? I'm just going to take it away from that little flower. Let's just add a little bit of yellow at the top. See, again, just placing colour really. I'm not colouring in. I'm just adding a touch of colour. And you think, oh, yellow on yellow, but it's truly, it's there, it works. There you go, see, just bits. Okay. And then let's bring in the red. And I'm just going to put it in those centre bits, you see? Just giving it a little bit of vibrancy. Again, I know it looks a bit weird at the minute because I'm just putting that colour on and I'm not really thinking about blending or adding any extra bits and pieces, anything like that. Let's just get some colour on. Okay, let's have a look at that then. Alright, so that's how it looks so far. Alright, excuse me a second. Let's catch a little bit of water. And paintbrush. I did have one. Oh, there it is. There's my paintbrush. Okay, so water. Of course, when you're using watercolours, you see that here, look, I've got, how can I sort of explain this? Let's use the bottom of the pad. Let's use the bottom of the pad. If I just stick my water in and wipe it across, you see how wet it is? You see I've got drips all over the place. Now, of course, we don't want it that wet when we're using it. So what we tend to do, put some in. And you could use a paper towel, but then it'll end up too dry. So I use the back of my hand. Yeah. Back of my hand. And just very gently clean it off a little bit. And you can feel then how wet it is on your hand. And that just sort of, just makes life a little bit easier, if I'm honest. All right. So here we go. So I'm just going to now, I'm not putting too much water in this at all because, it's one of those super smooth pages, which, to be honest, it does work better with the pastels and the pencils. So as long as you don't put too much water on. Now, you can see what I'm doing is I'm actually going in, let's go a bit larger, and I'm just sort of rubbing it round the colour. And then if you go back into your water, clean your brush off, and then just on the edges, just sort of tease it in so the colour goes where you want it to. You see, and of course, as you're working it round, oh, I do apologise, there you go. You're going to find that you're going to, your blue and your yellow is going to mix together, and you're going to be creating different shades of green as you go. Alright, so you don't want to be getting it over where the pencil, as in the graphite pencil is. You just want it in those areas that you've added a touch of colour on, okay? Keep it light, don't press on too much with these, because I say they're not going to travel as much on this as they will on your regular cartridge tiles. So, you know, add again a little bit of water, test it on the back of your hand, and then come on in and just work them together. And again, you see here what I'm going to do now, because I've got a little bit of a line forming here, you see? Bit of a line, so clean water, clean it off on the back of your hand, and just clean off and just let the colour flow into that and it'll fade. So it is easier to show you on a regular cartridge tile. You sort of see where it's coming. This might not be a good one to sort of show you. When you see there where it's, I've not got much water on at all. You see it's forming a bit of a line, so clean it off and just clean around the edge. Okay, just work it round. See, you need hardly any, because it's almost working with a dry brush. There's not much water there, as I said, so you don't need to go to town with it. There we go. Let's have a look at that. Yeah, Vivian, it worked well with the pastels. All you do, I mean, you put your pastel, or your chalky pastels on. It's just as you would, like I've done here. But see, I'm just cleaning my brush, look, and then just adding a touch of water so it goes into that yellow. But with your pastels, obviously you'd use your tortillon to clean it up, not you see, not your paintbrush. Although you can actually use water with those pastels if you want to. So you're just cleaning my brush off again, and where it's starting to form a line, I just go in with the clean water and just help blend it out a little bit, you see. And you've got to be tempted to, I know, to sort of fill the whole petal in, but don't. You know, just let it do its own thing. If you're going to use watercolour, then use it how it should be and let it have a little bit of freedom. You don't control it so much. So you've got to be aware of that. It's not like using coloured pencils. Okay? Alright, so you see I'm just going in, cleaning up the red. Because they're only small, I can just add a touch in and then going back in, cleaning the brush off on my hand, and then working. Now, of course, if you think that they're a little bit pale, I mean, watercolours are quite subtle anyway, or they are. You know, if you're doing landscapes and things, they tend to be more subtle. And you think, oh, it's too subtle, then that's fine, let it dry, and then go back in and do it again. Or use pencils over the top. There's so many ways of doing it. Vi, yeah, maybe Vi, then again, go back over them with another layer of pastels and build it up a little bit. See, it's quite pale. Let's have a feel. That's it. You see, it's quite. The flowers are still a little bit wet, but the leaves are dry. So let's go back in. And this time, look, let's. I'm going to go and see. I've got this darker green now. So let's go in and just add a touch over the top. Let's just do a couple and see what happens. Okay. You see, it's always about doing little bits and building it. If you add too much on at once, it's not going to look realistic. All right. See, because we've got that base underneath now. Let's have a look. You see, it's starting to look, you're getting a little bit more depth. So let's go back in. And I'm really not pressing on with these. I'm literally just touching the surface. And then just a bit of colour. It's because we've already got a layer on. Okay. So again, just touching the surface. And again, I really don't want to touch anything that's wet. So let's come in and just add. See, I'm just adding over the top of where I did before. See, that was a little bit wet. You see there? It's given me a little bit of a deeper mark than I wanted. So we'll address that in a minute. Okay. Yeah. All right. So There we go, just touching it with a little bit. Again, if you find you're getting that line, clean water and back in. So here, this was a little bit wet. So I'm going to get a bit of a line, but let's just work it around a little bit. There you go. Again, clean water, clean it off, just clean up that edge each time. Okay, don't get carried away with the water on these, as I've said, but you can build the colours up. Let's have a look at that. Let's have a look. Alright, so we've got something a little bit stronger there. Let's just have a feel of the, see these, not too bad, that's a little bit, still a little bit damp, but let's go in and apply the touch. So here we go. See, these are dry. So let's add some more red in. Again, not really pressing on, just adding a little bit. There we go, let's do it a little bit. You see, it just takes a little bit of patience. I know we all want it all done now, but it's not what this is about. See, I can feel that's a little bit damp. Okay. And let's add a touch of that blue in as well. Okay, just in the bottom edges. Okay. And little bits there. And again, back in with that water. Just, you know, keep changing your water regularly. You don't want to have dirty water as you're working. I know it's tempting. We just keep going, don't we? You think, oh, it don't matter. See there, where it's starting to sort of get that line on the edge. Just go in and just clean that edge up a little bit. But you see where you've got these extra little blobs or little sort of, that's what watercolour does. So you don't want that perfectly smooth blend. You want to leave it a little bit so you can see the layers underneath. See there? Just going to ease that edge a little bit. Okay. And last one. See, I know that was a little bit wet, so I don't want to do too much with that. And then, of course, you know, once it's dry, you can go back over it with your pens. You could do this. Oh, Julie, yeah, you could. You could work it on watercolour paper. You've just got to make sure that if you do that, don't press on too much with your original pen. And you might have to do like two, you know, if you draw one line, just go over it twice. Just to sort of get your pen in there. But yeah, just give it a try on whatever you've got. Use anything and everything you can. And it's just nice to have a go, isn't it? There we go. So there's my initial on my side. Let's have a look at this then. All right, so on this really, you know, dark and miserable sort of afternoon, to having a nice bright yellow tile, some lovely little flowers on there, and, you know, see what you can do with it. Have a play with it, try some different leaves, work with the watercolours or not, work with just plain pencil if you want to, that's fine too. But yeah, have a go, let me know how it goes, and have fun when all your orders get there. They will be with you soon. So enjoy, take care. I think it's time to, you know, go and have another cuppa and give this one a go. So thank you for watching again. Thank you for spending an hour with me yet again. So I'll see you all being well on Friday with tile number 74. 74, my goodness me. All right, so everybody stay safe, take care, and I will see you soon. Okay, bye.